Hi everyone, I'm Allison. Thank you for joining me for Where I'm From 205 with Lindsay. Um, I'm a little hoarse. We were at the Emmys last night, and it was very exciting and loud. And now I'm a little froggy. What have you been reading? I read The Ministry of Time by Kelly and Bradley, and a lot of books and things. I hope that you have too. Lindsay, I said, there you go. It worked.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I was saying I'm a little froggy because I was at the Emmys last night with my husband, so I'm a little bit
Fun.
hoarse.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was fun.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yes, he was nominated, so it's always fun.
Ooh.
It's an honor.
Yeah, what does he do?
He's a television producer.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, but that's why I sound like this. And how was your weekend?
It was great. It was relaxing. The first weekend since the summer started, really, that we haven't had people in town and at our
Yeah,
house or that we've had to go somewhere. So it was nice.
it is nice. I like
Yeah, yeah,
relaxing. Yes.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad we found a time
Yes, me
to
too.
for you to share your poem. Is there anything else that you'd like to share before you read it?
I don't think so. We're gonna talk after, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to just dive in then?
Sure.
Okay. Here we go. I am from wide open spaces and red dirt roads. The country cliches are all true. A town with no stoplights, two bars, and 16 churches. The sheriff is the football coach, so he never arrests us for loitering at the Shell station, for drinking beers at canyons, for using the empties as target practice with our fathers as guns. I'm from a long line of strong, difficult women. Unconventional. We would have all burned. From recipes that sound like spells, mediums, and ghosts. I'm from going your own way, bucking tradition. Generations of women who broke free stand behind me. Their strength lives in my bones, a head held high, as flames lit by society lick at our feet. I am from smoke and ash. It fills our valley and our lungs, but as the wild sage burns, it also fills my soul. I'm from water, a river, a lake, an ocean full of wonders few get to see. I'm from the wild, raging tributaries that snake and carve, drifting and pulling, a body wide enough to hold my dreams. I was born under lights. I'm from tap shoes and ballet slippers, from second position to pirouettes, pas de berets and fouette turns. I'm from stage makeup and quick changes. Music, so much music. Moving me, moving them. I'm from an 8 count. I'm from lines memorized so thoroughly that some of them never leave me. I'm from blocking and cast parties, run throughs, marking it. I'm from another world, one of our own creation. Cities built in a day, ancient Greece and boats on rails. I'm from the stage. I'm from television. Did you see me? Another life, 2 decades in a past I'll never get back. I'm from ESPN and Gonzaga University. Back handsprings, three high pyramids, and basket tosses. Did you see me? I'm from Kashmir. I'm from Kelly and Scott, but also Myrna, Vern, Jean, Eleanor, and Carrie. Someday, Malia, Sienna, and Reese will be from me. I am from the ocean. I am fire. I am water. I am my own creation. A most difficult woman.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So much of that, I mean, it all resonates with me, but obviously all the things about difficult women and being from those. I was thinking while I was listening, I guess, are there non-difficult women?
My mom's actually pretty non-difficult to be honest with you, which shocks a lot of people. She's
Hmm.
just like non-confrontational and sweet and um even if she knows you're wrong, she won't correct you,
Hmm.
one of those.
Because I was just thinking of society, and I was just like, are there women who aren't difficult? I mean, because certainly
Yeah,
I am also from difficult women, and my maternal grandmother, I mean, died in a mental institution, so like very much was punished for her
right.
uh, non-conformity.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, I guess there
There's
absolutely
a
are, but
few,
I
but
just thought like, man, it's tough.
yeah, even the non-difficult ones have a level of difficultness that society
Mhm.
has given them just
Yeah.
for being a woman.
Yeah, and for just, I mean, to someone, I guess I was thinking,
Yeah.
they've been difficult to someone just in the way they
Yeah,
take up space or expect to be treated with any kind of decency at times. People find that challenging.
absolutely. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
so I think it's wonderful you own it. I try to own it as well, but then it
Thank
just
you.
got me thinking about like, oh, who's easy? I guess
Yeah,
the
it's true.
ones who, um, and then so were you a competitive cheerleader? Is that what I got from that?
I was a college cheerleader. I cheered at
Okay,
Gonzaga.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you were in like I remember watching that because I was a gymnast when I was younger, and
Yeah.
so I would watch the cheerleading competitions and think of I don't know, like, oh, if I'd swerved a different way. Although I don't think I could have been tiny enough to be tossed. So I just would have been down there like helping out.
That well, and there's multiple types of cheerleading, and
Yes,
what Gonzaga did was what we call three high pyramids, and they're not even allowed anymore because they're
because
too
it was so
dangerous.
dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was every girl had a partner, a male partner,
Hmm.
and we'd create these pyramids where there was a guy and then a girl like me. I'm 5'4", so I was a
Okay.
very large cheerleader. So I would stand on the man,
Yeah.
and then
And
and then
then
they
a
would
girl would.
toss a girl up onto
Mm,
me, and then
yep.
I would catch her. So
Hmm.
there's lots of different, back then there were a lot of different body types that were in cheerleading just because of the nature of the pyramids that we
Hmm.
would build.
Hmm.
But yeah, I grew up dancing from a very, very young age. I did gymnastics, and then
Hmm.
cheer is kind of a marriage of those two
Hmm.
things.
Yeah.
And I wanted front row seats to the best basketball on the planet. So that was my main motivation.
Yeah, I remember those competitions, and I remember
Yeah.
thinking like that is unsafe. And they would show the falls like
Yeah.
that was the main event.
Yeah.
Like,
And
oh, and then they'd like show it in slow-mo, and you're just like, I don't, are they okay?
well,
You
it's the
know?
most back then. I don't know if this is still true, but back then it
Mhm.
was the highest injury rate in
Injury
any
rate.
college sport.
I
Yeah.
remember
And
that
I,
too.
I
Hmm.
broke, I a girl broke her nose in a fall where she hit me, and
Hmm.
I have a scar from that. I have a permanent injury in my shoulder,
I'm sure.
and I have a permanent problem with my back.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're not really supposed to be doing those things. I mean, when I was watching Cheer, I was like, ooh, watching those.
Well, and throwing those tumbling
Yes.
routes
Yeah.
on a hardwood floor like
Yes.
is
Obviously. Oh my
just bad on
God.
your joints,
Yes.
guys.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. Like, as they're like, oh, she's so great. She can throw a full blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, she's like landing. And they are like
Yeah.
annoyed that her knees hurt. Yeah,
Yeah.
her knees
And no one
hurt.
believes you. Also, that's
Oh
the
my
thing,
God.
because it's just
I
cheerleading.
believe them.
And so I would come, yeah, I'd come back with ice wrapped
Oh
on my
yeah.
shoulder or my
Yeah.
knees, and my friend Aaron and I would go after practice, and we'd go to what
Mhm.
we called the cog, and we'd eat, and we'd be so exhausted from like
Mhm.
4 hours of practice, and we're
Mhm.
not trying to eat a lot because
Of
obviously your
course.
your
Yes,
literal butt
obviously.
is on
Yes.
literal ESPN, and so and people would be
Yeah.
like, it's just cheerleading.
Right.
Mm, yeah, it
You're
was
right.
hard.
Yeah, I'm sure I would imagine it
It
was
was amazing though. I
challenging.
wouldn't
Yeah.
take it back for a second.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
good for you. I mean,
Thanks.
I feel that way about gymnastics, but I'm also glad I quit when I did before I
Yeah.
had
How old
too
were you?
many. I was only 12. But like
Yeah.
for people who are serious, it's actually like you're actually really good when you're 12. So,
Yes, definitely. Oh yeah.
you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
it
I
wasn't like
I,
I was
I
doing
quit
cartwheels. I was
I
like
quit
really
earlier than that
seriously.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was practicing like, 6 days a week, 4 or 5, 6 hours a day. Like
yeah, that's a lot.
it's a
Yeah.
lot. And I
Yeah.
have children that age and I think that was a lot for me to be, but I whatever. I think it was a really good way actually I felt for me to channel all of my rage. So that's what I did with it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, it was more of I was going a million miles an hour at all times. I kind of think that I have an undiagnosed ADHD issue, but I couldn't sit still. And so my parents
yeah.
were just like, go do this activity.
Yeah.
Here's a dance class. Here's a
Yeah.
gymnastics class. Here's
Yeah.
soccer. Like, get out of my hair.
Yeah.
So,
Even in your small town you had all these choices or did you go elsewhere to do
yeah.
them? You had all of
No,
them there.
we have all of them here. Yeah, yeah. Kashmir is located pretty close to a town called Wenatchee, which still isn't very big. It's
Yes, I know Wenatchee.
30,000 people. Yeah.
I
And
lived
when
in
Atchie
Seattle for a
had
short time and I had lots of friends from Eastern Washington. So, yeah, I
cool. Oh yeah. And I
know.
lived in Seattle for a short time.
The weather was not
Uh,
for me.
no, me neither. Me neither. I actually have a completely different weather pattern over here.
Yes, you do. It's like a
Yeah.
totally different place. Also, culturally, it's a totally different place.
Culturally, it's tough.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but you're
It
still in a
was.
good state. So,
I'm in a great
you know
state,
what I
and I
mean? Like,
love
it
my
makes a
hometown.
difference. Yeah. So, are you still
And
there?
I'm about 30 minutes away.
Okay. That's amazing.
So I like to joke. My parents hate this joke, but I like to joke that my parents live in Kashmir, and so I need to live at least 30 minutes away.
I'm sure they don't like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that is still very close to live
It's
to your,
very
I
close.
mean,
Yeah. And
most
my
people don't.
brother and his kids, and
Oh.
so we all got out of town. My brother lived in China. I was in India. I was kind of all over the place. We got out of Dodge. We went and kind of saw the
Hmm.
world, and then we realized that there's really not a better place to live than here.
Mm.
So we're
It's
home.
lovely.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a beautiful tribute to where you're from.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um,
Thank you.
yeah. So was there what was it like writing the poem? I can talk about all the other stuff that resonated with me, but what was it like for you?
It was at first I was going to take it very literally, and
Sure.
then I started listening to a few of the other people
Yeah.
that had given their poems and thought, "Oh, I love this concept of kind of tying Kashmir and the actual physical place of where I'm from to how it
Hmm.
shaped me."
Hmm. Yeah.
And if I hadn't have had that small town upbringing and that independence, I don't think that I would be the strong woman that I am today, because we didn't, we were literally just come back at dark, go hop
Mm-hmm.
on a bike, come back at dark. We were in the creek playing, we were up a canyon, we were all over the place in this small town in orchards, just causing, small town problems and
Hmm.
as kids. And so I had this deep sense of independence from a really young age. And I think that that's kind of this wildness in me that has now manifested into not liking authority and kind of trying to buck traditions in different ways.
Hmm.
So it shaped me, and so I wanted the poem to kind of translate that kind of and then bring it full circle at the end.
Yeah. Well, you did. And I think it's
Thank
interesting
you.
that, rural America is often, put conflated with ideas that I feel like don't often actually embody the people I know from there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, it's true. If you've never experienced it, small towns are diverse places,
mhm.
not um, racially all the time,
Right, but
but there's
socioeconomically.
yeah, yeah, and those people, there's a lot of people that feel like me
Yeah.
that just don't feel like they can speak out because they are
Mhm.
in the minority, and there
Yeah.
are then consequences, and it's a small town. And when it's a small town, everybody knows
Yes.
everything about you, right? And so there's no secrets, but you just have
Mhm.
to hold your tongue sometimes when you wouldn't want to. And that always bothered me,
Yeah.
always bothered me.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that it's interesting because obviously in cities there can be a lot of anonymity, which for some people is frustrating, but for some people it feels like freedom.
yeah, yeah, that anonymity can feel like freedom. For me, it felt like um like a freeze. For me,
Mm.
that anonymity felt like I had lost myself or I was going to get
Yeah.
lost in the city.
Yeah.
I would run around Green Lake in Seattle, if people watching know
I
that
used to live near
region.
Green Lake, so that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
used
like
to run
where I
around Green
lived.
Lake.
Uh-huh.
Really?
Hmm.
I was in Queen Anne,
Oh, I was
and
in
I would
Fremont, but like I was
oh,
right
amazing.
in
Yeah.
North Fremont and I would go up to Green Lake. It was like my happy place, but it wasn't enough. Is that what you're going to say about Green
It,
Lake?
yeah, well, I loved it. I loved Green Lake, and so I would
Yeah.
run around it. I'm a runner. I've
Yeah.
always been kind of outdoorsy, and so I would
Hmm.
go for runs. And around here, you pass somebody, you wave at them, you do a little like,
Mm,
"Hi,
hmm.
good
Hmm.
morning, how's your day?" And so
Yeah.
I started doing that, and people look at
Mm.
you like you're a serial killer.
It's true. That's
They
absolutely
don't
true.
want to talk to
Mm.
you. It just felt
No.
very lonely, I guess is
Yeah.
the take home
I
point. The
actually
city
found
felt
Seattle
lonely,
very lonely, just
very
for what
lonely.
it's worth. I don't find Los Angeles like that, but
Yeah,
I do remember when I went to Chicago for college, people were so friendly there. And I was like, what is going on? Like it
yeah.
felt kind of like intrusive, and then I
Hmm.
realized, oh, this is the culture. People are friendly. It's totally fine. But No, in Seattle, it's an interesting mix of types of people, and I think it's
Yeah,
probably changed. I lived there in like the late '90s, so obviously you can change Seattle, but
for sure. And
it
I
was
was there in 2011, so
yeah,
it's been a while. And it's really, when somebody explained it to me that it's the weather, they've
it's
got
so
their
brutal,
earbuds in,
man.
they've
Oh,
got their, their
yeah,
umbrella, their
yeah,
sunglasses, like when you're trying to almost armor yourself
yeah,
against what's happening
yeah,
outside, you do kind of have to like tunnel into yourself a little bit.
yeah.
And that almost made sense to me rather than it's not the persons, it's just that they've,
No, for sure. I agree
yeah,
with that. And because I
yeah,
felt very overwhelmed by it. Just
yeah,
I was also 22 and depressed, so it was not a good match for me.
right.
It's like, oh, this is not no.
Hmm.
I need
Yeah.
to go somewhere sunny. So here I am.
Yeah.
But
I'm jealous.
yeah, it's home for sure for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but so did you have challenges of what you wanted to pick, or was it pretty clear to you, like, oh, these are the things that I want to say?
Yeah, it was challenging. It was
Hmm.
because there's you to put your whole life in a 2-minute poem is, or like explain how you're from,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Because I've dealt with things like you were saying, like depression, I've dealt
Hmm.
with mental illness and personally and in my family. And, there are things in your life that kind of define you. But if you really boil me down,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
am from a stage.
Yeah.
I love to be up on I love to perform. That's just, I think, really the base of my personality. So
Yeah.
yeah, I wrote a couple of different versions of it
Mhm.
because I had been playing with
Yeah.
sort of like darker
Yeah.
things, but I also really wanted to tie it into what I've been writing on my Substack, which is
Hmm.
these personal essays. My Substack's called How to Be a Difficult Woman.
Yes.
It's mostly satire where
Hmm.
I talk about women in culture and kind of our place in the world and what I'd rather it be. And then also like, what I've decided, which is, I quit drinking, I don't have children, things like that, and those decisions that I've made. So
Hmm.
I kind of wanted to tie in that piece of it because I've been having so
Hmm.
much fun with that Substack. So
I
yeah.
figured, and I'm glad you mentioned your Substack, because I I like anyone who's talking about being a difficult woman. And I think that you talking about your lineage and the challenges of your lineage, while you aren't explicitly talking about depression or mental health, I mean, it's in there because that stuff is intergenerational. And those are
Yeah.
things that we have to reckon with. Like, it did affect me what happened to my grandmother, even though I never knew
Yeah.
her.
Right.
It's still carried in my DNA, obviously, but also in the way that my mom lived her life, for fear of dying in a mental institution, and the way that I considered her mental illness as well. Like the
Yes.
fear with which I considered her mental illness because her mother had
Yes.
died. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and in doing the Substack, I started looking at my lineage, and
yeah.
and really contemplating the choices that these women made. My
Hmm.
great grandmother in the 1930s divorced her husband in
Which
the
is like,
1930s,
yeah, unheard of.
and I asked my grandma, what did your mom feel like at that time? Do you remember
Hmm.
that time? And she's like, oh, she was just done. She was over it. She was going to go her own way. So she had like, I'm getting divorced, right?
Yeah.
And then my grandmother had a very rough time with her husband, my mom's dad, and that
Hmm.
affected all of those women. And then on my dad's side, you have these more stoic women who had to kind of backdoor their difficultness,
For
which I
sure.
also, and my grandma, my dad's mom had multiple sclerosis and had to deal with all of the stigma that came from being in a wheelchair and things like that.
Hmm.
And she did that with amazing grace. Like
Hmm.
the woman always looked good. She always was a lady, like down
Hmm.
to the T, right?
Hmm.
Whereas my mom's side of the family was more like, I'm wearing jeans and we're going to curse and we're going to use words that aren't actually English and it's going to be just fine. So it's been kind of fun to dive into these women's stories and get
Hmm.
to tell them and then get to reflect on how, like you were saying, like how those choices that they made affected me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there is a certain, for me, power and healing and just even, saying Eleanor's name or
Yeah,
considering her desires and life and hopes, and
exactly.
because she didn't get to do that.
No,
So
no.
And I think it's important as, politically what's happening. The more space we take up, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, and back to the small town, and the more that
Mm-hmm.
you talk to people, you
Mm-hmm.
realize that there's a diverse. I did write a Substack about this. I was a Republican until 2020, 2016. I
Mm-hmm.
voted for Hillary and then
Mm-hmm.
switched parties, as
Mm-hmm.
did, and I'm very proud of this, as did my dad's entire family.
Wow, that's a big
So
deal.
yeah, my dad
Mm-hmm.
has four brothers, so there's five of them,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe every single one of them switched political parties after Donald Trump was elected the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's also been very, this kind of shift in how I viewed the world and my world in particular,
Mm-hmm.
thinking we didn't need these social justice
Mm-hmm.
changes because it looked from our perspective in a small town to be fixed because we weren't dealing with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it's also been a nice reflection on myself and the biases that I carry and the things that I
Mm-hmm.
was taught as a kid that might need to be reevaluated,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that it's okay to change your mind. It's
Yes.
okay to get new information and say I was wrong, that
Mm-hmm.
and I want to
Yes.
go a different way.
Yeah.
And we're so entrenched these days, and people don't have the, maybe even just, they're just fearful of saying I was wrong or I was duped or whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
giving them grace and themselves grace and permission
Mm-hmm.
to make a different choice. We're just not seeing
Absolutely.
that.
No, it's hard. It all feels so personal.
Yeah, it does. It does, especially as a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's difficult when you see women dying
Yeah.
because of the changes in laws and I mean so many people suffering. It's
Yeah.
not just women.
No.
And you just like try to not be enraged all the time, but also keep it there
I think
on the
I
side.
am doing a much better job than I don't know about you, but the first go around was really rough, and I'm trying to do a better job at like maintaining my mental fortitude.
Yeah. You got to protect your peace and then do the things you can do. Like you can't let yourself get depleted by it because that's what they want.
Right. Exactly.
They
Yeah.
want you to feel hopeless.
They want, and
And
then and that'll make you stop fighting
yeah, yeah.
or
So
paying
you
attention.
got to make sure you can protect it so that you can keep fighting because this is a lifelong thing. And I think that for many people, it felt like we were done. I think particularly white people.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like, no, it's a lifelong. It
Mm,
can always be better. And I actually saw someone talking about when you talk to children about politics and they say, you know, what should people have food? Should people have homes? Should people have health care? The answer is, of course, they should.
of course.
And
Of
it's such
course.
an easy thing to say to a
Yeah.
child. And that having compassion is what we should all have for one another. Um,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
we've lost the script. Um,
We've
but
definitely gone a
but we've been
darker
losing it for a long
direction.
time. That's the
Yes.
reality. So this is just making it's writ large now. But yeah, we should want people to be able to eat, have phones and have phones
And medical
and healthcare.
care,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah, and it's particularly
we can
enraging
afford it.
because my day job is I'm an attorney.
Yes.
And so what I really love, sarcasm, is watching people discuss things like the due process clause or the Second Amendment when they've actually not read
No,
the
this is worse.
Constitution
Yeah,
or the Federalist Papers that were written, like the Constitution. Anyway, I have a whole
yeah.
soapbox, but
Which is why I have a
it's a
Substack.
rough. It's exactly. It's a
Yeah.
rough time to have any knowledge of how legal process and precedent
I
works.
think it's a hard time to have logical thought
Yeah.
and see people saying the things they say and with such confidence. And it's
Yeah,
like,
and
oh no,
some of them I went to high school with, or
I'm sure
have known
that's
my whole
difficult.
life, and
Yeah, yeah,
it gets then kind of
yeah,
disheartening in a way, or you don't want to lose a friend over politics. I never want to do that, but at the same time, you have to sort of draw a line of, like we talked about, like your peace. How to keep
yeah,
your peace and how to
yeah,
how to be your own person. And I
yeah,
want to maintain a relationship with Kashmir, right? I love this
yeah,
place. I love
yeah,
my home. I moved back for a reason,
yeah,
and it does sometimes feel very alienating, but
yes.
we're still here. We're still being difficult. We're still flying pride flags year round
Yeah,
just for fun.
yeah. No, I think it's a wonderful thing. I think it's so I've stopped being surprised by it, but it is like of note that they make people so uncomfortable. It's like, how
Yeah,
can
why?
people's self-expression make you uncomfortable?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and there's choices. It doesn't hurt you.
No,
That's the thing
no, it
that's
doesn't
always
affect you at all.
no.
Yeah.
So anything else before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so. This has just been so lovely. It's nice to talk to
Okay.
you, and thank you for giving
So
me the opportunity to read my poem
yes, I loved
and
it.
tell you all about it.
Yes, I loved it. Please you can check out Lindsay's Substack. I'm gonna do that. I'm a little bit slower with Substack.
No
But
problem.
there's just so much good stuff. But thank you for your time and your poem, Lindsay. I really enjoyed this.
Yes. Thank you so much. It was so great to talk to you.
Bye.
Bye.